And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. Welcome back to Fanboy Fridays. And this video is going to be a little something different. And I don't know, it may turn into a series, but you know, the past couple of weeks, you fanboys have been showing back up in the comments. And so, you know, I thought I'd do a video talking about some of the questions that you fanboys seem to refuse to address. Because I think this is the, I think these questions are actually the underlying problem behind your sickness, behind your delusional devotion to the so-called king. And while you guys are intent on saying the same narratives over and over again, you never have any new reasoning to say why you believe your king is so great. Because to me, at this point, it's not even about the GOAT conversations anymore. To me, that ship has long sailed, and to be honest, it was never actually a conversation. For those who actually know, we know that the whole GOAT conversation was strictly a manufactured thing. And I would say manufactured from UnKlutch Sports, because to me, while there was a lot of hype around LeBron James, you know, until the Nick Wrights and Shannon Sharps, you know, people who are members of the CFL really started promoting this narrative, there was no conversation about LeBron James being in the GOAT conversation. That wasn't a thing. And so today I have some questions for you guys, because I believe these type of things really get to the heart of the matter. And you know you fanboys have a hard time thinking, but if you can just thinking outside of your emotions, but if you can just get outside of your emotions for a second and actually think about these questions, then maybe you will start to question why you have such undying loyalty to a person who said you can go back to your miserable lives. You know, why you spend your days defending this guy, you know, to the point to where, you know, it's questionable, like maybe some of you are long lost cousins or something of his. I don't know. Maybe you're related in some kind of way, because the way that you spend your time like it's a 9 to 5 defending this guy is incredible. You're less of a quitter than your king, I will say that. So here's the first question for you guys. It's a simple question, so don't think too hard. We don't want you to hurt yourself. How is a person who always makes the right play the leader in turnovers? You need a minute? Let me ask this again for you. How is the person who always makes the right play the leader in turnovers? Now, here's gonna be your dilemma, fanboys. Here's your dilemma, because I know your first reaction is gonna be to say, well, he's been playing for 21 years. But if you're gonna use that, then you also have to apply it to all of his longevity stats. You gotta apply it to the scoring and, you know, the rebounds and assists as well. You gotta apply it to all those things if you're gonna use that. So, but if you're not gonna use that, then you need to explain how someone who always makes the right play is the leader in turnovers. And speaking of always makes the right play, you know, I find it convenient that when LeBron James, you know, if he happens to hit a game winner, which doesn't happen often because his clutch stats are deplorable, but if he happens to hit a game winner, then all of a sudden, you know, he's so great and He's one of the most clutch players ever. But in the instances where he's been too unsure of himself, too unwilling to take accountability, too unwilling to take the criticism for shooting the last shot, and he decides to pass it off, well, then he also gets the benefit of, well, he was making the right play. Here's something for you fanboys to think about. In important situations, more times than not, whether Michael Jordan shot the shot himself or he made the pass, it resulted in a win. See, you guys always bring up, oh, he passed to Paxson, oh, he passed to Kerr. But the thing that you are forgetting is it resulted in a win. See, whether Michael Jordan took the last shot or not, Michael Jordan actually made the winning play. And there's a lot of things that go into this. Now, you can say, oh, well, he just had great shooters. But I think it's much deeper than that. This goes to the leadership of Michael Jordan as a leader in holding his teammates accountable. I think it was John Paxson who gave Bobby Hansen advice when he came onto the Bulls, and Paxson basically said, "Hey, if you're open and Michael Jordan passes you the ball, make sure you hit it, because if you don't, you won't get it back." Now, some may say, especially you fanboys of LeBron James, oh, well, this is Michael Jordan not believing in his teammates, blah, 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 blah. No, this is Michael Jordan holding his teammates accountable that said, basically, look, you got one job, so I expect you to come through with that one job when needed. Again, this is back when there were role players and you had your shooters, you had your rebounders, you had your defensive specialists, you had guys who specialized in a role. And if you were a shooter, then you had to be counted on. Now, I would say that, that was probably being over-exaggerated. But what he was saying is that Michael Jordan expects you to make the open shot when you get the opportunity to do so. And again, this goes to Michael Jordan holding his teammates accountable in practice. I was watching, what was the name of this guy? Someone who's recently doing a different documentary on Michael Jordan based on I think it's called The GOAT Dance or something. But anyway, they were showing footage of Michael Jordan's practice, and Michael Jordan was so serious in practice. So serious in practice that, you would have thought that this was a playoff game. You would have thought they were in the middle of a playoff game, the way he was, talking to his teammates, talking to Ron Harper, talking to Tony Kukoc. It was serious. And he didn't allow room for mistakes in practice. Because again, with Michael Jordan, he understood that you eliminate the mistakes in practice, then you eliminate the mistakes in the game. If you are in playoff mode in practice, LeBron James, then you don't have to activate playoff mode. So yeah, the reason that Michael Jordan got such good results in clutch situations, whether he passed it or shot it himself, is because not only was he a great shooter, not only was he clutch, but he held his teammates accountable. And I would go as far as to say, but not only that, his teammates felt obligated to perform their best for him because he was always given 100%. Again, I've said this about LeBron James before. You cannot ask your teammates to do something that you can't do yourself. You cannot put pressure on them if they are not seeing you go 100%. The only thing that LeBron James can teach his teammates is that, hey, you guys better work out and keep in shape if you want to play for 21 years. And then, by the way, after about 10 years, you can stop playing defense. After about 10 years of your career, you can stop playing defense. Make sure you keep working out, And also, I got a connection on the balcony if you need it, if you want to extend your career. So yeah, fanboys, that is the question for you, is how can if you always make the right play, why are you leading in turnovers, in all-time turnovers? It's question number one. Question number two, and I've brought this up many times, but fanboys, 2018, the J.R. Smith debacle, blunder, however you want to classify it. I know you guys love to just pile it all onto J.R. Smith. But again, when J.R. Smith made that mistake, they were going into overtime. And again, this was the moment. That moment for me is what made LeBron James completely unredeemable in my eyes. That moment for me is when me trying to give him the benefit of the doubt in any way went completely out the window. That moment right there just said to me that, hey man, this guy is like he's a crybaby, he's a quitter, and he's not a real competitor. Like, man, you are over there pouting on the bench like the game is over. You still going into overtime, man. Where's your competitiveness? If you're the GOAT, you should think that this is time to win. We're going into overtime. JR, you messed up, but now let's go into overtime and finish this game. But LeBron James literally acted like the game was over. And I just did a video on Magic Johnson because I was watching a documentary about Magic Johnson, and when they were in the finals against the 76ers, and Kareem went down. And everybody was so worried about Kareem going down. Like I said, the players, looked defeated. And Magic Johnson said, hey, I don't care if Kareem's not here. We're going to win this anyway. And Magic Johnson played center, scored 42 points, 15 rebounds. I think it was 7 assists. And so Magic Johnson's attitude was, look, we are here to win no matter what. Injuries happen. But I'm here. I'm Magic Johnson, and we're going to make this happen. I don't care if I have to play every position on the court. We're going to make this happen. This is not the attitude of LeBron James, and not having that attitude, you cannot be mentioned amongst the rest of the greats. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Fanboys, your king is a complete fallacy. A complete joke. If you want to mention this guy amongst the likes of some of the greatest competitors basketball has ever seen, I'll give you this. Your king may have had some of the greater potential in the NBA, but he did not maximize it by far. LeBron James may have had the greatest potential in the NBA with his size and build and what he came in the game naturally with from an athletic standpoint, but he did not maximize it, and he didn't maximize it for many reasons. He does not have that attitude of, I'm gonna win this thing at all costs. I don't care what happens. And that is unacceptable. So fanboys, my question is how can a guy who didn't believe he could win in overtime, how can you support a guy like that? Is this someone who you want leading your team? The guy who first of all, a guy who thinks he's outmatched. A guy who thinks he's outmatched. Larry Bird never thought he was outmatched. And again, I said this before, when Magic and Larry played in college, Magic's team definitely had much more talent than Bird's team. Was Bird giving up? Did Bird walk off the court early? Did Bird get in the press conference and say, well, you know, they just had so much better players than we did. I mean, what do you want me to do? No, Larry Bird was out there playing his heart out every minute of the game. They were double, triple, quadruple teaming Larry Bird, and he was playing his heart out. But you guys are in my comments every day supporting a guy who, because his teammate made a blunder and it was going into overtime, this guy was acting like the game was over. This is who you guys are supporting. You guys will want the fate of the world determined by a guy who was capable of quitting because he thought he was outmatched. I need you to think about this, fanboys. Seriously, sit down and think about it. Get out of your emotions and think about if your life depended on it. Is this who you want representing you? Is this who you want playing the game for your life? The guy who, if he thinks he's outmatched, he doesn't think he can win. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna try to keep this video short. This might have to turn into a series. Okay, let's address the obvious. The flopping. And hold up, before we move on, one more thing about the 2018 finals. And I've said this before, but I also need to say this again. LeBron James' teammates are often insecure and unsure what to do because LeBron James himself is insecure and unconfident about himself. LeBron James does not have good leadership. And, you know, you fanboys may get upset, but I'll just say, to me, that's probably part of the reason why J.R. Smith actually made that mistake to begin with. Is because LeBron James doesn't have good leadership. LeBron James doesn't instill that confidence. When you talk to a lot of the Bulls players, a lot of them have said that part of the reason we were confident is because we knew we had the most confident person in the NBA on our team. We knew Michael Jordan always thought he could win. So we always thought we could win. Again, when it's the leadership, it is the, you know, leading by example and setting the tone for your team. If LeBron James was confident and he got onto his teammates in practice and he let everybody know that this is serious all the time and that you play mistake-free in practice so that you can play mistake-free in the playoffs, that likely wouldn't have happened. If everybody on the Lakers team knew that, not the Lakers, the Cavaliers knew that LeBron James was this confident, so we can be this confident, that mistake might not have happened. But okay, now let's move on. Let's move on to the obvious. The flopping, fanboys. You know, you guys get in my comments and you mention everything under the sun about your king. A lot of it doesn't have anything to do with basketball at all. Again, I don't care about if he's a great father, which is highly debatable at this point. You know, I don't care about what charity work you think he's done that he always has to show off to the camera because it's disingenuous. I don't care how much money he has. Completely irrelevant. Fanboys, the flopping. Let's get some answers. Let me hear. If you guys want to say something, if you guys want to be taken serious, then please get in my comments and give your explanation of why the flopping is okay. Now, before you say, oh, well, some of the refs don't call it and blah, 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 that is irrelevant. Because there have been a lot of players throughout the NBA who probably felt that because of their size, like Shaq, didn't get the amount of calls that they were supposed to get. I don't recall Shaq being a flopper. Again, if you are truly bigger, stronger, and faster, then, you know, then use that. I mean, he does it anyway. He stiff arms people. You know, if you just want to be honest, the amount of calls that he so-called doesn't get, which to me is unimaginary, is imaginary. The amount of calls that he so-called doesn't get is balanced out with the amount of calls that they don't call on him. The stiff arming to the way, that play that they were talking about, that he was supposedly similar to Michael Jordan's last play in Chicago, where he missed that three-pointer horribly, and he shoved, I can't even remember who was guarding him now, but he shoved the player to the ground. Calls like that they don't call. The traveling and all these other things. So I don't want to hear about the calls that you think he doesn't get. The flopping is actually a deceitful maneuver. It is trying to deceive the refs. And again, if you fanboys on board with that, it is something wrong with you. But more importantly than that, let me tell you something, fanboys. That flopping shows you how unconfident he is in his own ability. Again, please, fanboys, don't get in my comments and address anything other than what I've talked about in this video. And if you're gonna say something, don't say I'm hating. Write an explanation of how you feel about these things that I'm talking about in this particular video. Write an explanation. Don't get in your emotions. Take a deep breath, calm down, and actually talk about the topic at hand. Give me an explanation about these things that I've been talking about. Give me an explanation about 2018, how LeBron handled it, and what you actually think about it. Give me an explanation about the whole flopping thing. Give me an explanation about how the right play equals the most turnovers in the history of basketball. Give me the explanation. So again, the flopping is a direct sign that LeBron James is not confident. Because again, I keep bringing up Larry Bird and Magic Johnson because I've been watching a lot of documentaries about them lately. But the thing is players who are that guy, who are truly that guy, they think they can win no matter what. They really believe that. Fanboys, if your king doesn't have that, how can he be in the top 5? Let's start there. He's not in my top 10, and he's dropping. Honestly, he's probably not in my top 15, top 20 at this point. I just hadn't had a chance to sit down and make this list again. But yeah, I can't justify him putting him against any player that I think is great. I can't justify him being up there. Fanboys, I need to know this. When you're talking about the players like Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, players who thought that they could win under any circumstances, even Kobe Bryant. Players who thought that they could win under any circumstances. How can you put LeBron James in that same sentence? And he's not even as skilled as none of these players I listed. So he's not as skilled. He definitely doesn't have the will. Again, because the will is, I believe I can get this done. Oh yeah, you know the other team is stacked with 5 Hall of Famers. I still think I can get it done. I think I can get it done. LeBron James does not have that. So fanboys, these are some questions for you to ponder. And if you want to be taken seriously, like I said, get in my comments and actually address what I talked about in the video, because this is something you fanboys never do. You deflect. This particular fanboy, I'm not going to say his name because I never say any of you fanboys' names on this channel. But in particular fanboy, whenever I talk about LeBron, he talks about Kobe. Fanboy, what is your problem? What did Kobe do to you? Did Kobe come to town and sleep with your girl or something? What did Kobe do to you? I need to know. Fanboy, address the topics at hand. Answer the questions and don't just answer it with some kind of brush off kind of comment. Sit down, think about the questions, and tell me what you really think about these things that I brought up. But anyway, we're gonna hold up here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. For the people who are rational, normal, logical basketball fans, I'm sure I know what you think, but please drop. Let me know what you think about these things in the comments, and also in the comments, drop some other questions that you think fans of LeBron James need to seriously sit down and ponder. Drop those other questions in the comments, because I'll likely put them up in a video. But yeah, fanboys, we're trying to help you. You know, we're trying to move you over from the category of just being entertainment and laughing at you to being back to productive members of society, back into reality, you know, away from the world of delusion. At the end of the day, we're trying to help you, but until you're helped, we're just gonna laugh at you. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.